Hey there guys, Inferno here. I know this episode is a bit later than everyone was expecting, but this is my sort of cover of the most recent developer update. If you have not seen it already, then I recommend you read it in the description below before you watch the episode, or I can just sort of go over it here and you can listen to my ramblings instead, completely up to you. Anyway, getting right into it, the internal testing for this week finished on Sunday, so yesterday, or I don't know when this will be uploaded, maybe 2 days ago. But basically, what they said was they found a bunch of bugs. They fixed most of them. Testing has gone well. Apparently, that's all we've got, I think. So yeah, they found a few issues, and they've started to bring the forum moderators into the game to start playing the game as well. So they're going to have a few more testers on hand. Maybe they'll try playing. I don't know how they're doing it at the moment. I think that like the guys in the main A2Z, like I don't know if they do it from an office, I assume they do, have been sort of networking with people like JB who are like in the middle of Kenya or something. I don't actually know how it works at the moment. I don't actually know if some people work from like home and send things in. I'm not 100% sure on how they work that out. But anyway, before I go more off topic, forum mods are now starting to test the game alongside developers, so there's a few more people testing, and if it's in a state where they can start bringing other people on, that means our keys are coming soon. And bear in mind, this is for the backer release. I swear I'm going to have that copyrighted and pasted like on the banner of my channel or something, because people need to remember this is not the game, this is the backer release. Now, you might have been expecting the game on something called a backer release, but in reality it is not. If you've not watched any of my other videos, go and watch them, because otherwise you won't have any idea what I'm on about. But to sum it up, it's not the actual game, it is fucking broken, probably. Anyway, moving on. I got some pretty cool screenshots to show you here, so I'm just going to quickly just run them over the screen, I guess. So here they are. Now, what you're seeing here is a screenshot of the game on Ultra. Now, the game does look nice, but the main thing I want to draw your attention to is those rocks. The textures are nice, the actual sort of shape, you're gonna notice what I'm going on to here in the low screenshot. Now, if you're looking at this, what you'll notice is the grass definitely is nowhere near as dense. There's no sort of ambient occlusion on the sort of bottom of the screen, or the sort of grass where it's a bit darker before. Now it's all that sort of same shade. Notably, there is what seems to be less grass. I could be wrong about this, but it does look like there's a bit less on the far right of the screen. The rocks are the same shape, it's just that the texture looks like it's from rust. Everything in the distance is kind of less detailed. I mean, you can still see like tree lines in the distance, but just not the sort of bushes scattered out in the fields really far away. Anything else that I sort of want to point out, I guess, is you can't see some of the more distant shadows, and there's no sort of overly specific detail on things like the trees. So if you go back to the previous screenshot, you'll see that the trees look a bit shaded, they have more leaves to them, and there aren't floating leaves at the top right. So yeah, that's definitely something I'd look out for. But apart from that, the game should be quite interesting. The fact that nothing seems to have changed too much shape-wise means that if you have a shit processor, you're probably going to struggle with this game in general. There's no, like, graphics aren't going to affect your bad CPU. If you're bottlenecked by your CPU being bad, you're going to suffer by my assumptions, but I could be wrong. Now, here we've got another screenshot. This is another Ultra screenshot. I want you to pay particular attention to the interior of the house on the left, and also to the bush on the right in the garden, because when the settings get turned down, there's something I want to talk about. Hang on, I'll quickly swap the screenshots over here so you can kind of see what I mean. Right, as you can see, the interior of that house is now super easy to see inside and no detail whatsoever. If there was a guy in the previous screenshot crouching in there, maybe hidden in some dark clothing, you wouldn't see him. Now you would. Why? Because the floor is bright fucking grey. So, I'm not well, I am really. I guess what I'm starting to think here is playing on lower settings is going to put you at a giant advantage, and that in survival games is I don't know, it always ruins it in my opinion. Games like Miscreated's done it fairly well. Rust has done it fucking terribly because if you play on low settings on Rust, you're getting like quadruple the FPS of the people on Ultra who are playing at these really nice looking settings, but they're at like 10 FPS because the game's broken and terrible. So by the looks of it, it's going to be everyone running on low. What I did mention earlier was the shapes of things haven't changed either. That's kind of good in the sense that if you're playing on low, you're not going to be able to see people through rocks but not shoot them. So props to the devs for kind of keeping things how you'd expect, I guess, and not going too overboard. I mean, the game does definitely look nicer, and I assume there's a lot of sort of stock assets in use here. I doubt everything's completely custom. That's why things might not look too snazzy, and obviously the game is in pre-alpha, so things will be improved. But for now, I think it looks pretty decent. I'm confident that people with reasonably bad PCs should be able to play this game on low, maybe at 720p, 30 FPS maybe. I'm not too sure. Like I said, I'd have to play the game myself and let you guys know how it runs for me. If it runs bad for me, it'll probably run bad for people well, it'll definitely run bad for people who've got like bad computers. If you're planning to play this game on a laptop, my suggestion is don't, because no one games on a laptop other than plebs, I guess. Unless it's like a gaming laptop and you've actually been scammed, then yeah, just don't try and play this unless you're on an actual decent up-to-date PC. The minimum specs are on their website if anyone's interested. I think it's a 660 minimum, which I think is a bit much, but JB himself said that was a bit of an overshoot, so it was just in case. So I'd expect a bit less than that, maybe a 500 series graphics card from Nvidia. And if you've got an AMD graphics card, I don't know, I'll come to your house and cook my breakfast on your graphics card. Moving on, the internal testing currently, well, it's kind of out of internal testing into slightly less internal testing. It's being done in stages, which is how they handle stress tests. So the first stage that they're doing is called Stage 1 Connection and GUI, which will be things like testing the HUD, testing the menus, making sure that shit works. Does the chat work? Do things in the inventory function as they should? Can the chat be closed by pressing, I don't know, certain buttons? Can certain characters be sent in the chat? Can, I don't know, chat be filtered down to just admins or something like that? You know, maybe you just want global chat to only be for admins, if there's a global chat in the game. I'm not sure about that, actually. Testing sort of how... say if I were to log off in a building and then log back in, would I have actually logged off there on the server's side? Would I still be there? Pretty much anything like, there's one here that says, testing to make sure that non-safe logoffs spawn you at a new random location, should be in the vicinity of your logoff area. Right, now this I hadn't seen before. Spawning in the vicinity of where you log off sounds better than spawning randomly to where you log off. Now, we don't know how big this vicinity is, but it might be better if it's to be perceived the way I'm looking at it. This means that you will spawn, I don't know, I'm guessing within maybe a kilometre or two of where you logged out, maybe instead of spawning on the other end of the map. Because we had a lot of people in the comments that were like, oh yeah, that sounds shit. And I do kind of agree, it is dumb, but I don't know. It's meant to combat login, but if you ask me, it does the exact opposite. Because if I start getting shot at and I can just log off and teleport somewhere, then well, I mean, I can run, hide in a bush, log off, and after like 10 seconds, I'll disappear and move 2 kilometers away. I mean, most people are going to go with that option, and it's not going to be fun, because that was the issue that DayZ had, where people would just be like stood there in game for the safe log off timer, then disappear, and people didn't care. They just combat log and test the luck, because at the end of the day, it's usually the easier way than trying to fight with your gear, because the gun combat is super simple at the moment, and I wouldn't trust it as far as I could, you know, throw a brick, because I can't throw a brick very far. My arms are like noodles, and it's pretty upsetting. Anyway, moving on. Soon there's going to be a sort of document for people to follow and see like how the development is progressing, how the testing is progressing. Maybe if they've come across any hitches or something like that, then they'll let us know. But for now, that's pretty much it. they've just left another link in the Discord at the bottom, so if anyone did want to go over to their Discord, they can. But that's pretty much it. It's just a short update, just to let us know that once we are sure that all the client and server killing bugs are sorted and the majority of smaller issues, those requiring rebuilds specifically, are sorted, we'll release keys. So if the forum mods are in, I can assume maybe 2 weeks until we get our keys, unless there's a problem. So what are we talking here? We're talking, what is it today? It's the 28th of August that I'm recording this. So if we haven't got our keys by 2 weeks from now, so what's that? That's the 4th of, no, it's the 11th of September. So I expect we'll have our keys by then, probably. If not, then something's gone wrong and you guys will have been told about it either by the devs or on this channel. But that pretty much sums it up for the update. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get around to this. I was at Insomnia 61, which is a UK gaming festival, over the weekend, and I came back, and the following day I was just completely destroyed, so I slept through the entire day. Next video will either be a Survive the Nights update video such as this one, or the Wildcard Survival Games video, which is going to be about 15 minutes of me covering new survival games. It depends how much information I can find on them, really. I mean, I do know some myself, but I don't want to be like incorrect on the videos, obviously, because that kind of sucks. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We are now over 205 subs, I think, which is pretty insane. Most of the videos on the channel are now over 1,000 views, which is even better. I assume people have been sharing the videos somewhere that I don't know about, but whoever's doing it, thank you very much, because you are pulling in more and more viewers, and that's what I like to see. My current approach to uploading videos is as follows. When the video that I've uploaded most recently hits 500 views, I will start working on the other one, because I can usually get it up in the same day. It does not take long to record these videos at all. So yeah, so usually when a video hits 500 views, expect me to be working on the next one, or thereabouts, unless I've said otherwise on my Twitter, which is why you should be following my Twitter. If you're not, then that's your own fault. Thanks for watching, guys. I've rambled way too much in this video. TLDR, which I'm going to link to right now, is that the game is coming in about 2 weeks, unless something gets fucked up, which it probably won't at this point, because they've done enough development and they probably just want to get the game out. Anyway, as usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.